Hello and welcome to another video on the Grimwood Watch Modern channel, and today I have another AliExpress watch here in front of me, this time from Boderry. Now before I even touch on the watch, I am going to quickly look at the packaging, because the amount of packaging, the quality of it you get with this is actually quite good. So firstly you get this lovely faux kind of leather watch box. I also got this lovely Boderry kind of bag with this lovely red cordon, and inside that there is also another branded box there, which this box came in. It's kind of like AD quality packaging, which was quite a nice touch when I got it. The other thing is, just to bear in mind throughout this review, this watch cost me £89 all in, so no kind of taxes paid, what blah blah blah, it was £89 full stop. So without further ado, let's open up the box and see what we've got inside. And here we have the Boderry BDA001 Urban, which as you can see is a very Rolex kind of inspired skeletonized watch, and in all honesty I fell for this look. It looks absolutely lovely, but the second thing that I kind of more fell on was the specifications of this watch, especially at the price point. But before I start looking at the watch, just a quick ganders underneath there. We've obviously got the instructions, but you also get this lovely kind of decent quality actually jeweler's screwdriver, so you can get straight away at that bracelet to size it for your wrist as soon as it comes through the door, which I kind of like the fact, so you're not faffing around trying to find a tool to size your bracelet. So with all that out of the way, let's crack on with the review. So first off, let's get the specifications out the way. So the case diameter is 40mm, we've got a lug to lug of 48.5mm, we have a thickness of 12mm, and we've got a lug width of 20mm. The movement we've got going on in here is a Hangzhou 7500, which basically beats at 28,800 beats per hour, and we've also got 72 hours of power reserve, and it's also an automatic. We have a stainless steel case, we've got a sapphire crystal in the top there. We do have a 0 to 60 kind of bezel arrangement, but that is fixed, it does not move. We also have a crown which isn't screw down, which is a shame. We've got a case back which is screw down. We have a water resistance of 50 meters, and we also have a weight of around about 120 grams with the bracelet size to my wrist. Overall, for £89, those specifications are quite outstanding. However, some of you might not like the skeletonized movement. There is another version, I'll put it up here, which is basically a solid dial with a date function. They also do both models in a titanium case for around about 40 quid extra, which to be honest I think is a steal. I went with the stainless case because I do like me watches to have a little bit weight on them. The titanium ones are 65 grams, which is a bit on the light side for me, but the harder wearing, and some people do like the lighter watches. So with the specifications out the way, let's have a look at the aesthetics. So the dial, or should I say lack of, because obviously being a skeletonized watch we don't have a dial per se, but the way the movement has been skeletonized is very well done. They haven't just hacked at it to kind of take bits out so you can see moving items. They've actually done a bit of thinking to it. There is a bit of thought gone into it, such as like at 12 o'clock the actual movement is shaped with that like S pattern, which kind of frames the mainspring very very nicely, and I use the mainspring as a bit of a power reserve as well, because as soon as those coils start to get a bit loose, you know it's time to wind the watch up or stick it back on the wrist. And obviously at the 6 o'clock we have that lovely balance beating at 28,800 beats per hour. Nice high beat movement we've got in there. Now moving up, like I say, we don't have a dial per se, but we do still have markers. We've got this lovely thick chaptering going around the outside. At the 12 o'clock we have a triangle, just to notify you that you've actually got the watch up the right way. The rest of the markers are obviously round, as you can see. The 6 o'clock is missing because the balance has taken up that space. We've got the Boderry logo there at 3. At 9 o'clock we do have a couple of jewels there which are basically doing nothing. These are fake jewels. They're basically just hiding a few little kind of mountain points on the movement in there. However, I don't think they distract from the overall look of the watch. Moving up to the hands, and we've kind of got the skeletonized kind of theme going on with these as well. As we can see, the hour hand and the minute hand 3/4 of the way down are skeletonized themselves in the same finish as the movement, which kind of makes the bottom half of the hands very hard to see. It basically makes them like a ghost effect. However, right at the tip we have the lovely blip of yellow on each hand with a nice bit of lume as well. The other good point about this watch is I think it is very legible in terms of skeletonized movement watches, because the minute and the second hand actually reach right the way out into that nicely legible chaptering, meaning precise time reading is quite easy to do. Obviously the hour hand is set a bit further back, but the hour hand is a bit more easy to read because you don't want the precise kind of measurement done off the hour hand. You're going to be using the minute and second hand, hence why they're reaching right the way out into that run of the chaptering. So with that said, I think it's a great time to get into a loom shot. So I've compared this watch against its modded Seiko SKX and also the Pagani Design 1651, and as we can see initially the loom is quite bright, but it does seem to die quite quickly. The hands go first and then the outer indices on the chaptering, so it isn't a watch you're going to be seeing through the night. However, it's still better than the Pagani Design, which to be honest it can't really be any worse. So with that all out the way, let's move on. Moving up, we've got this lovely bit of flat sapphire crystal, which I have tested and I can confirm it is sapphire. It's also got a lovely bit of blue AR coating on there to boot as well, just to take a tiny bit of the glare off the watch when you look at it. Moving up to the bezel, obviously this is a fixed part of the watch as well. It would have been nice to have a movable bezel on it, but in all honesty, having the skeletonized movement, I think it is the right thing to do to have a fixed bezel. Now we've got obviously the 10-minute increments going all the way around the outside, and in between we have these lovely black triangles just to break up the heft of the bezel as well, which I think is a very nice touch to have. Moving around to the case, obviously the case is all in all Rolex kind of style, and it's a nice thin case at 12mm. Well, the overall height I should say is 12mm. It does fit very nicely on the wrist. We've got a nice bit of polishing on the side. There's a few scratches there because I have worn this watch for a week. I have scratched it up. The only thing is, as you can see, there is a few machine marks in the polishing there, which does kind of slightly distract from it. It's not the best polishing overall, but it is okay standard for an £89 watch. We also have brushing on the top surfaces and on the crown side as well. If I just give it a bit of a rub there, we can see there's also polishing there. Lovely big kind of Rolex style crown guards. The crown itself is kind of a two-tone affair. We've obviously got the matched colour of the gold with the yellow, but at the end we have this kind of black kind of end, which personally I think looks a bit plasticky. It could even be plastic, and I think this is the cheapest part of the watch in my mind. It cheapens it, should I say. I think that should have been the same colour as the rest of the crown, and it would have made the watch look a lot better, but that's my own personal preference. Turning the watch over, we can see we have a display case back, which to be honest is a requirement on a skeletonized movement watch. It would be a bit pointless without it. However, it does show we've got this lovely Boderry kind of custom rotor on the back there with the Boderry logo and obviously the Boderry wording down there with kind of enamel blue writing in it, which looks very, very nice. And we've obviously got that full bridge balance there ticking away as well. We have a few obviously specs going around the outside, such as stainless steel case and obviously water resistance of 50 meters, but overall the back of the watch is very, very nice, and the case back is also screwed down there with the scallop cutouts as well. Very Omega stylish. It's a very mix of kind of Rolex, Omega and Tudor all in one watch. So with that out the way, let's have a look at the bracelet. Looking at the bracelet, we've got full solid links throughout, including the end links. We have brushed top and bottom finished and polished sides, screw-in pins, which is obviously very handy with the free screwdriver you get with the package, because it just means you can actually adjust the watch yourself very, very easily. Moving on to the clasp. Now this is the bit of this watch I kind of like / hate, because it's Tudor inspired and I love Tudor clasps overall. That lovely little kind of counterlever to put your finger in. It just basically makes it a breeze to use. However, the thing is, there is a bit of slop on it, as you can see there. The gap in between this main kind of clasp retainer and the main body just yeah, the gap in that does annoy me slightly. However, it is comfy once you've got it on the wrist and the action isn't too bad. The only thing I would dare say is put a little bit of thread lock on the screw pins, because they do have a tendency to kind of work the way out, which isn't pleasant when you're wearing the watch and the bracelet comes apart in your hands, so just keep an eye out for that. The next thing I want to look at is performance. Now, I don't normally do this unless the watch is performing very, very good or very, very bad, and in the case of this one, it's performing absolutely extraordinary in my mind. Out of the box, I'm getting +1 second to +3 seconds a day. I've got an amplitude around about 320, 330, 1 millisecond beat error, and 28,800 beats per hour. Where else are you going to get a watch for £89 that has that type of performance out the box? Yeah, it is absolutely outstanding in my mind for an Aliexpress watch. So with that all out the way, let's move on. And here is the Boderry on my 6 3/4 inch wrists, and in all honesty, it does wear very, very nicely. It's got a nice slim case with that 12mm thickness. The bracelet is also very comfy to wear, and the weight at 120 grams is a nice bit of weight to have on the wrist. Not too heavy, not too light. Obviously, if you wanted it lighter, you can go for the titanium option, and if you don't like bracelets, there's also that leather option as well, just to keep in mind. But overall, I like this watch on my wrist. It is very, very comfortable. So with that out of the way, let's move on to my final conclusions. So, my final conclusions on the Boderry BDA001 Urban. Well, in all honesty, as soon as I saw this watch, I knew I was going to like it. That skeletonized movement, which has been done to a very nice standard. The actual chapter ring and hands, which make the watch actually very legible to actually read the time off, which is rare in skeletonized watches, because a lot of them are hard to read the time off, I will admit. It wears superb. We've got a solid end-link bracelet with that Tudor style clasp on it, which wears spot on. However, for £89, the performance out of the box is outstanding. I might have just got a good watch, don't get me wrong, I can't say if that is the case. However, to get +1 to +3 seconds to day, a decent amplitude, a beat error of 1 millisecond, a high beat movement, and also 72 hours of power reserve. Now, when I actually let this watch run out, it's actually got 73, this particular watch, so you can have it off the wrist for 3 days, sling it back on, and it's still ticking away. And the closest watches I've got in my whole collection to this spec-wise are actually my Black Bay 58 and my Black Bay GMT, which cost basically £2,600. Many more times than this piece at 89. So let's have it in the comments. Do you like the Boderry? Would you have it on your wrist, or is it just one of these another kind of jam a pile of other kind of watch designs into one case and try and sell it and you just wouldn't touch it with a barge pole? Please put in the comments below. As always, if you have liked this video, please subscribe, press that bell button so you get future notifications of videos that come up, and as always, keep safe and I shall see you soon.